Greetings, this is Father Michael with the Word of the Week. This week's word is thirsty. We all have known, very human to have the experience of being incredibly thirsty. Whether we've done some kind of physical exercise or eaten something that's particularly salty, in that moment of extreme thirst, nothing suffices except for water or some refreshing drink to rehydrate us. Now it's interesting that in moments of great thirst, we know we need water, but in the last few years I realized, a little personal experience and a little deep dive into the subject, that 75%, this shocked me, 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. Most Americans drink between 2 and 3 cups of water. The recommended is almost over 8.5 cups, or for those who aren't big on that system, 2 liters, or if you're thinking big, half a gallon. Now, maybe perhaps medical minds and nutritionists might vary on exactly how much water is needed. Certainly it depends on the person, I'm sure. But what struck me is that there can be 3/4 of the population, myself included, that operate within the day severely thirsty, and we don't even know it. We need water, and our body cries out to us, and we feel that in terms of being stressed or tired or not quite as sharp as we ought to. And it's simply, we just need the most easy thing, at least, thank God, in the first world, we simply need water. We simply need to hydrate ourselves. In the gospel, Jesus reminds us that what's true physically, the body's need to be hydrated, and our often ignorance of, and perhaps lack of knowledge of that deep need, is brought out when he comes and he speaks to the Samaritan woman. He awakens in her, through that conversation, the back and forth, of her deep thirst spiritually for real relationships and the broken relationships she's had. Her real deep-seated need for God, for the presence of the Spirit in her life. As we continue into this Lenten journey, we are reminded that there is a thirst we have for relationship, particularly for God's love, that we are chronically unaware of and frankly don't always seek out. So where are we hydrated? What are those sources of hydration in our life? Well, coming back again, and you're going to see this Lenten theme again. It's through that sense of prayer that we are hydrated. The great church fathers speak about prayer as being the great wellspring from which we are hydrated. Our thirst is slaked, and we are able to once again, both physically but spiritually, be alert, sharp, focused, and in the fullness of God's living in and through us. And here's the interesting thing. When we are awakened to our thirst, our need for God, one thing becomes clearly evident, that God's thirst for us is greater than our thirst for him. Let me say that again. When we are able to be hydrated at the font, at the wellspring of prayer, what becomes more and more clear to us into sharper focus is that whatever thirst and need we have for God, God's thirst outstrips ours. And so we don't have to, it's a wonderful thing, we don't have to think, what do I need to do in order to be hydrated, other than to simply come to the well, come to that place where Jesus is, and say, Lord, give me your living water. Fill me with your Spirit. Give me the joy of your presence, that I might not only receive it and be hydrated, but I might, like that Samaritan woman, be living water for others. May we truly receive that living water through the sacraments, through our prayer life, and be living water for those this week and during this Lent. Amen. Amen.